Since my response was positive, they decided to schedule my interview. And let me tell you, the day on which my interview was scheduled, I was. Hi, I'm Rajesh and welcome to another edition of Vlogging with Rajesh G. How are you guys doing today? I hope all of you are doing great and I hope it continues that way. You know, the emotion which an interviewee undergoes during the entire interview process can only be experienced by a person who is actually undergoing it, and nobody else can understand. So I have been on either sides of the chair, that is, sometimes as an interviewer and sometimes as an interview when I personally want to attend an interview for a job. Out of all the interviews that I have attended so far, this one interview was very special because I didn't feel like an interviewee. And the interviewers were also very kind, very gentle, and there were a lot of other things which I will tell you as we progress further in the journey. And let me tell you, the end result was that I ended up accepting the offer because that was the impact which was left on me during the interview process. Everything about this interview is very unique. I got the first call from the HR of the company when I was returning back from an all boys trip from Goa. My first Goa trip and the first one after the pandemic. So, since I was on my way back, I requested the HR to call me the very next day. And bingo, whatever time we decided to connect, exactly at the same time the HR called me back. And even this time I was out and I wanted to delay this call, but I decided to, take it up. Reason being, I have committed. So they briefed me about the company, the job profile and everything and asked me whether I'm interested or not. If I say yes, then I'll be processed for the next round of interviews. And when I heard the job profile and all the other things about the company, I said, okay, it's cool enough. Let me just go ahead with the interview process. And I nodded in yes. Since my response was positive, they scheduled my interview for a particular day. And let me tell you, I was least bothered or inclined to attend this interview because I had already attended two interviews and there was one company which was about to offer me a job. So I was like, should I actually attend this interview or not? Or what is the purpose of attending it? So in this dilemma, I reached out to a friend of mine and I told her, you know what, this is a situation, what should I do? And she said, Rajesh, go ahead and attend the interview. We don't know what's in store for you. And I must say, or let me say it, I must thank her for pushing me to attend the interview because things changed after that. So the interview was on a Zoom call because we were still reeling under the pandemic and personal interviews were not being conducted that time. And I didn't know it was a panel interview. It was only when when I saw them, I was like, oh my god, it's a panel interview. I was a little shocked and taken aback, but I said, okay, anyhow, now there is no escape for you. But let me tell you, the interviewers were highly experienced people, and the way how they conducted the interview process was phenomenal. Usually what happens, interviewer just, ask you question back to back. But here, they didn't do that because they had seen everything in my resume and they knew I was a potential candidate. So what they did was that they created a warm environment and asked the question, but in a very indirect way or in a very sober manner. Now you'd be wondering why this interview is so special for Rajesh and why is Rajesh speaking too much about this interview? Because usually when you're attending an interview, it's a traumatizing situation for you. But here, the way how this interviewers conducted this interview or made me feel, I didn't even feel that I was attending an interview. I felt I was having a coffee or tea table discussion with somebody on some topic that is not even relevant to the job interview. That is the way how they made me feel. And that was the reason I'm telling you this interview was very special to me. And all the questions which they posed weren't a direct shot. They just framed the question in a manner that I didn't feel like they were asking me a question. It was over the discussion. This topic will crop up, and I will just answer it in that mode. And during this discussion which we were happening, I don't want to address it as an interview. During the discussion which we were having, there was a question which was raised and which made me a little uncomfortable. It's a very common question usually asked during the interview, not pertaining to the core skill set. Let me be very clear about it. And I was like, I knew the answer, but I was running out of words to answer because it was bingo situation. You have caught me. It was then one of the interviewers, they came forward and They diffused the situation by some laughter and added a joke to it. And that was the way how they conducted the entire interview process. And I didn't knew actually this interview was scheduled for 30 minutes, but this interview went on for 1 hour. And I think either parties, we didn't wanted the interviews to stop because we both were having a great time talking to each other. At the same time, we both were judging each other. They were judging me, I was judging them as my future employer, what kind of people they are. But let me tell you, their first impression was a long lasting one, which actually compelled me to think, what should I do with this company? And let me tell you, by the time we ended the interview, we just said goodbye and thanks. And I was very clear that, I have been shortlisted for the next round of interviews. And I had also made up my mind that going forward for all the other rounds, I will be more confident and serious because now I want to join this company, come whatever it is. And let me tell you, there were multiple rounds. After this round, there was a CEO round, which again I cleared. And again, during the CEO round, the CEO accidentally told me, somebody from my company will get in touch with you. That means you are already shortlisted, you will be offered soon enough. And then I think within a day or two's time, the offer was rolled out and I accepted the offer. And let me tell you, during my tenure in that organization, it was very amazing. The people who interviewed me, I actually met them in person. And my first statement to them was, wow, finally, glad to meet you from the virtual to the real world. And they were very warm, exactly the same way how they appeared to me in the interview. So I hope this video was informative for you. If that's the case, like the video, share the video, post your thoughts in the comment section, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. So until my next video, bye bye, take care and spread the power of positivity around you.